Okay. Wanted to talk about something I haven't talked about in a while, and I think I need to because I want to clear up some misconceptions about my opinions on this. Spider-Man movies. All of them. Every single one that's out now. Excluding fan films, animated, whatever. You know the drill. At any rate, Spider-Man movies. Where to begin? Alright, so many people seem to think that I'm some sort of hater of the Raimi films. To a degree, I am. I, I I do hate a lot of what he did. I do, especially since I know Sam. I know he's a comic fan. I know he loves that series. I don't know why he did what he did. Probably, probably to make it more marketable. Probably because he thought, well, Sam's style's always been more campy anyway. So while I know he likes the comics, I really don't think he was the best choice to direct that in the first place. And especially since he made it very clear what his villain preferences were, and it was kind of showing through, and he was kind of the problem with Sam is Sam Raimi loves creativity. Okay, he does. He loves to do his own thing, and that's why I really don't think he's the best choice to be adapting things. He likes to put his own spin on stuff. He likes to throw in comedy in there. Sometimes it's comedy that really doesn't fit what's going on. Evil Dead. Look at that. Horror series, and yet there were some off the wall funny moments there that really didn't belong, that a lot of people who look at it as a pure horror movie throw a fit about when they just don't get it's a horror comedy. It's kind of the same thing here. The problem is, this is a source material that did not have that did not have the tone that he gave it as a result of that. And it just kind of screwed it up. Okay, I also understand that when he made the movie, he made it less with keeping it like the comics in mind, more an all ages thing to kind of try to get people into the story in mind. I can kind of see that. I'm not a big fan of doing that. I do like one thing I do like is that he did manage to get at least the atmosphere of the comics, at least the early comics, where he had these weird like filters and lighting effects and everything, and that was cool. From a cinematography standpoint, that was awesome. I'm a fan of that. I love that about those movies. I do like some of the shots that they used. Some of the ways some of the effects were handled were good. Uh, but there was just, for one thing, there were times that when I say the effects too, I mean like where they were supposed to be digital. There were other times where they used digital effects where they really shouldn't have. For example, a scene where Spider-Man's literally just standing there, turns his head, sticks out his wrist, shoots a web, and then swings off. Did they really have to digitize the entire thing? Couldn't they have just had him there actually in the suit doing that, and then have the swing digital? I mean, this was in Spider-Man 1. And then there's other stuff, though, that he would add. It's almost like he tried less to make a Spider-Man movie and more a tribute movie to superheroes. I think that's one reason why it has a wider appeal to a lot of people, is because there's tribute to a lot of heroes in there, especially Superman. There are so many Superman references in there that it's not even funny. In fact, his Peter Parker even acts more like Clark Kent did in some of the comics from like the 60s and 70s. A lot more bumbling, a lot more clumsy in order to try to further distance the fact that this is Superman. Because, just a pair of glasses really ain't going to cut it. So that's one that I actually liked when they did that with Clark Kent, because a pair of glasses and a suit isn't really going to cut it. In order to buy that he's not Superman, he'd have to project an aura of being the opposite of Superman, which to the credit of the movies, um in like the Donner films, I really don't like Richard Donner's Superman movie that much. I don't. But to his credit, he nailed that. But if you go back and you watch Superman 1, compare it to Peter Parker. I'm not kidding. Compare it to the Peter Parker from the Raimi films. That's him. There are so many references. He's even got the Jameson acting less like Jameson and more like the guy at the Daily Planet. He's got it's ridiculous. Uh, Mary Jane's more of a Lois Lane type, constant damsel in distress. Um, or at least how Lois Lane was back then. It's oh gosh, even right down to there are so many references it's not even funny. The way he fights even is a lot less like Spider-Man, a lot less acrobatic, except for like maybe a few scenes. One scene in Spider-Man 1 did they actually make him acrobatic when he's in the full suit as Spider-Man. The rest he's all just, fighting the Goblin like straight up, fist to fist, stuff like that. Then there was the stupid stuff that bugged me, like how he's able to literally block two blades with just his wrists, and yet the third one comes by and slices him in the same area, and yet, yeah, cuts him, and he's bleeding for like a freaking hour. Yes, accelerated healing. There you go. Apparently, accelerated healing means you bleed to death from anything. But I digress. There's stuff like that. The shirt. Oh my God, the shirt. See, Spider-Man. Everyone has their more iconic moments when they suit up or whatever. Batman always had and that is something that even the old Batman movies had, where he puts on the armor, and there's like the different scenes and whatnot. That's always been his thing. Superman has always been the whole, there's trouble, the glasses come off, the tie's loosen, and he pulls open the shirt, and there's the S there. They did that in this movie, in these movies, many times. In fact, one time he's even running through the crowd, pulling his shirt open, and there's this red. I get it, yeah, I get it. Spider-Man wore his suit under his clothes a lot too, just in case. But I mean, they're literally copying the Superman thing. I mean, Spider-Man's thing too always was, being there, with the mask pulled up over his face, and then whenever he's about to go in and get serious, he just pulls it down and swings in. That's always been more his deal. Clever remark, pull down the mask, swing into action, go kick butt. Here it's not. He's too dead serious. He's too square jawed. He's too proper. It just bugged me. They even turned him into a marketing thing. I mean, do you know how many Spider-Man posters there were of him just standing there with his shirt open and the Spider-Man emblem there? Same way Superman with the Superman emblem would be there. I mean, it got ridiculous. It's Spider-Man 3. It was even one of the posters. And then you go into, oh gosh, I mean, that's just the tip of the iceberg. There are things that I do like about those movies, and there are things I can appreciate about those movies. I'm going to leave it at that. I still think Sam Raimi is a brilliant filmmaker when he's in films that he belongs in. Outside of that, nah, he's kind of pigeonholed, unfortunately. But when it comes to horror and or horror comedy, the guy's a freaking genius. I'm not even going to lie. He's almost unmatched. So, but moving along into The Amazing Spider-Man.